and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be playing some more Pauper, and my deck of choice today will be this Oros deck, featuring All That Glitters, that recently got a downshift, I guess you would call it, from uncommon to common. This card is a 2-mana aura that gives enchanted creature +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control, and in this deck, you will have all the artifact lands, you'll have clues from inspectors, you'll have synthesizer, you'll have Lembas, you'll have our Batterfist, and the glitters itself. So that'll be a very, very good pump spell. But yeah, first things first. Mana base, very straightforward. You play the artifact lands you can. You play the duels that make sense. Even Bridge is a duel, and then some basics to have additional, untapped sources, because that is kind of important in Pauper. You want to have good mana and cast your spells like consistently, but you also want the tempo from as many untapped lands as possible. A recent printing of Novice Inspector, which is just a copy of Thraben Inspector, gives a bit more consistency. A 1/2 can be good stats for blocking, chipping away at the opponent's life total, getting a little bit of value from the clue. Yeah, just all around solid card. Then we have the flyers for Glinthawks. Glinthawk will provide evasive damage and value with the artifacts we're about to speak about. And then Core Skyfisher does a lot more of the same, except it can also bounce inspectors. So it's a bit more flexible on the, like, you can also get into a situation where you return a land to play it untapped, and that way kind of make this a 1-mana flyer. But the main purpose of this card is flying in for damage and providing value. This card, Experimental Synthesizer, is this is a good one. So this basically ensures you have one of the best late games in the format. By just grinding, getting returned, grinding some more. Then if you run completely out of gas, you can sacrifice it to do it all over again, get a 2/2. Card's just amazing. I hope we get to showcase that today. Then we have some burn spells here. Lightning Bolt, pretty self-explanatory. Galvanic Blast we can support because of all the incidental artifacts we have in our mana base, within our creatures, within our value engine of Lembas. So this card, you play it, you scry 1, you draw a card. That's not worth 2 mana, but you can gain life with it later in damage races, and you can bounce it with various flying creatures, and it helps with Metalcraft for Galvanic Blast. So all in all, a lot of synergies. Our Batterfist, I actually really like this card. I could see myself running one more copy of this. It's essentially a 2-mana 3/1 that you can just keep, bouncing and getting more and more value, and also helps with Metalcraft. So yeah, this card is pretty strong. The equipment part of it is cool when you, let's say, you block with the Rebel, and you can equip a Glinthawk. All of a sudden, it's a 3-mana flyer. That's not nothing. Yeah, this card is just solid. Yeah, and then the quad glitters, as we talked about in the beginning. Yeah, I'm pretty curious. I haven't played with all the glitters before. I would imagine it's either a very easy decision when to just slam it on a creature and attack, or it gets tough to find the exact right spot where the opponent let their guard down, whether it's counterspells, red-based removal, or whatever. I will have to keep an eye out for cards like Snuff Out mainly, which can blow me out. So let's look at the sideboard here. I have chosen to play 3 Dawnbringer Cleric. This card is good against enchantments. This card is good against burn. This card can be good against the graveyard. Just very flexible. Let's say I was only aiming for burn. I can play Arishan Cleric instead. It gains 3 life, but I think the flexibility is going to be awesome. Then I have some cards against Affinity. I think I'll also bring in some number of these cards against the Mirror. Didn't decide that yet. Relic against the graveyard. Mainly the Tolarian Terror, Gangler deck. Pyroblast against more or less anything blue. Then a couple of Electrickeries to not get run over by Goblin tokens, fairies, etc. I'm excited to take this deck for a spin. So yeah, thanks for watching so far. Let's do it. All right, round 1. We're on the draw here against All for None. Don't recognize that nickname, but let's see what we're up against. My hand is pretty decent here. I have a couple of lands, some good things to do. Let's see what we're playing against. That's the most important thing. I'll lead on a tap land here. My opponent does not offer a a target for removal. My next turn is not that exciting. It's something like play an Inspector, hold up Bolt, I guess. But maybe that's okay. We could be playing against some Fairy strategy. Yeah, this is where another island, so maybe something like mono blue fairies? I don't know. It's kind of sad that I don't know what I'm playing against, because if I don't play against fairies, playing the bridge is just way better. Okay. So we resolve Inspector. We have a couple of Glinthawks in hand that we're looking to grind value with Synthesizer later. Okay. Looks like we might be playing against mono blue Delver, Terror, stuff like that. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the yard. Okay. So next turn, my opponent's gonna rain big creatures on me, which is not good at all. The question is, do I just try and make this Inspector big? Sounds kind of bad. Let's see. I have 1, I have 2, I would have 3. So bad against Snap, that card specifically. I don't know. I think I'll try going for the glitters here. I feel like I'm losing pretty big to my opponent's big creatures. Force Spike. That is the dream. I love that card. Okay, so let's get in for damage. Probably lose to some big creatures here. My deck is not very good against the big creatures. I do have some Pyroblast in my sideboard. Yeah, this is just unreasonable. Alright. Alright. Triple Terror. Force Spike, Triple Terror. Very, very bad for me. So I have 5 good cards in my sideboard, and I think since my opponent's playing a deck with Snap, I'm supposed to cut glitters. I don't know. Let me know about that one. Let's see. Maybe it's the munition that has to go. I'm okay cutting the munition. Okay, let's run this back. Worth noting is the burn spells only handle Delver of Secrets and reduce my opponent's life total. It's next to impossible to kill Tolarian Terror with burn spells, but there is the Serpent, the 6/5 as well, which will die to 2 burn spells, which is serviceable. Nothing that I'm hoping will happen. Okay, this hand is solid. I don't have any of my hate cards, so I could get blown out if my opponent has a good hand. Turn 1 Inspector. Worth noting is that a card like Synthesizer gets a little bit worse after sideboard when you have more and more reactive cards. Maybe I should have a look here, see what we can find. So the question is that good, or do we want something else? It looks decent to me. If I keep this card, I can play Batter Fist next turn. Do you know what? I'm actually gonna look a bit deeper for like Pyroblast, Relic, stuff like that, because I don't think I'm beating the big creatures if I don't interact on that axis. Delver did not flip, which is good news for me. I wonder what I should play here. I feel like I'm getting countered. Try and play this. And grind some more. The next turn I can start playing the Sky Fishers. Consider in response, because the opponent has Force Spike in the deck. Makes a lot of sense. My card resolves. Scry. I want one more in play. And now I'm actually gonna see if I can do better. Develop the tap land. The context right now is also the opponent is somewhat scared of all that glitters. I think now that mono blue deck, when I played it, at least it had Snap, 3 or 4 copies. I'm not too big of a fan of auras when the opponent just has bounce spells. But who knows? It might be a bad enough matchup that I should kind of shoot for the stars. The opponent flips. The opponent can play another Delver. Right now, I'm just losing to those guys. The good thing about that is I have a deck full of, cards that trade for it and burn spells. I expect to get countered here. I do get countered. Let's play another Skyfisher. Bring back Limbus. Attack for 1. Yeah, this is decent. I'm looking to trade for a Delver here. The opponent goes upkeep Thought Scour, and because the opponent could theoretically find a Brainstorm to cast before the Delver triggers. I guess that didn't happen. Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instants and sorcerers in the yard. Take the trade here. Another Delver. That is kind of funny. Okay, let's go Synthesizer. See what we can hit. The opponent might fire off Hydroblast or Annul. I would expect both cards to be in the deck in this matchup. Here's a Relic, which is kind of a good hit. Let's see if we get countered. Logic Knot. It's cool as a 5th counter spell. Can't pay 3, so that's countered. Feel like I should go again. If I hit a 2-drop, I can play a land from hand. If I hit a 1-drop, I can just cast it. If I hit a land, I'll play it. Let's see. See what we can hit with this Synthesizer. It's kind of scary. The opponent has the double Delver in play that can flip it any second, and they can start drawing the Serpents or the Terrors, which would give me a World of Hurt. Okay, a land wasn't the most exciting. Let's see if we can do better. Yeah, it's most likely not going to be enough. I'm going to stay back here because I think if both of those Delvers flip, I'm in deep, deep trouble, so I'm banking on that they don't. Maybe the opponent has a Lauren revealed here to give it a go on the second Delver. Yeah, it's a good trick. You miss on the first flip, and you have a shuffle effect. Boom. All of a sudden, you have 1 flip Delver instead of 0. Here's a land. Here's a Terror, which I'm not sure why that wasn't cast last turn. Huh. Another land. Yeah, this could be over soon. So let's see. The opponent has Annul as the last card. Let's crack. See if we can find Galvanic Blast. That's not bad. Galvanic Blast on Delver. Play Lifeland. Pass the turn. I think if the Delver flips, I'm chump blocking Terror. Heal Sabotage, so kind of the same as Annul. Go to 11. The opponent has some counters for artifacts. So if I Skyfisher, that card can trade with Delver. Then I place it. Synthesizer will trigger, which is cool. And then I'll play it again and soak a counter. Not bad. Let's play it. I'll get... Yeah, let's see what I'm... Probably I'm getting Steel Sabotaged. I think it's better for the opponent to have the ability to counter enchantments later. So let's kill Delver. Let's play a tap land. Let's tap for 2. crack a clue at the end of the opponent's turn. The opponent has an Annul and a Galarian Terror. I'm looking to either race it or kill it with a Pyroblast. I'll go down to 7. I have some life gain in the bank here, which is not bad. I might actually be doing okay this game. Let's see if we can... Okay, this is not good. This is not good. So I have 4, 4. So, I mean, if my opponent doesn't draw anything, I think I'm winning this race. Crack. Eat some bread. Opponent can attack me down to 8. I'm hanging on to the lightning bolt. Synthesizer will get countered, so I guess I just forced the issue. Now I could see casting the lightning bolt on my opponent's upkeep being a good play. Because let's just say they have a land in hand and they draw a counterspell. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do it because I think it's only... Yeah, I don't even know what's punishing me here. Okay, so I guess my opponent found at least a blocker. Yeah, there's a blocker. And I draw land. Okay, so now it's just over, right? I can fly in, but then I'm just dead, right? If I fly in for 2, I can't block both. If I stay back, I have to double chump. Yeah, this is just over. Okay, so we got thoroughly destroyed by Mono Blue. My opponent had, I mean, in the first game, that was an insane draw. This was like very standard. I think my land spell ratio was terrible this game. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I drew 11 lands. I think it's very hard to compete if you draw, like, I don't know, 2/3 or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think if you draw like a 50-50 ratio, it's like playing 30 lands. Very hard to beat a normal draw, so I need my opponent to have a terrible draw as well. And yeah, that's just how it is. I'm kind of curious about all that glitters in this matchup because I really don't like the blowout potential from the opponent's side of the table. But maybe you need to do it in what I would consider a bad matchup. Yeah, who knows? Let's see if we can get a win on the board in the next one. All right, let's try again. After getting destroyed round 1, let's see if we can bounce back here. I think this hand is a keep. We get some looks with Drawstep and Limbus. Synthesizer for later. I think that's all right. It's not super impressive. I'm gonna hang on to the synthesizer. We have the all that glitters. Okay, this could be a mirror. Kind of interested in how that plays out. So let's see. Can't use that. Batter Fist is fine. It's a play we can make alongside Only Got Lightning Bolt. Then turn 4, we can start the turn with synthesizer. I think it's decent. In the meantime, I wouldn't mind drawing a white source. I believe once glitters hits the creature, there's no way to... Oh, never mind. Huh. Lackey. Out of a Boros deck. Okay. This is probably Glitter's deck. I'm gonna play it cool here. I'm not gonna kill the lackey right now. I think it's acceptable to take one from that card. I can hold up this removal, should be quite clutch. Let's see. Let's see if all that glitters will hit the stack. The opponent's thinking about it. Here's a Glinthawk returning an artifact land. That is quite bad. The opponent wants to put on the aggro. Wonder if they get... Yeah, returning a tap land there is not ideal. But let's see if this is all that glitters. All that glitters. Let's Lightning Bolt then response. If it resolves, it gets out of reach. I'll take my 2-for-1 any day. Now would be a good spot for me to draw a White Source and do the same. The opponent does not want to trade 1 damage for 3 damage. Understandably so. I'm playing mono red over here, which is not ideal. Okay, I'll play munition. Have to pass the turn. Yeah, this is not ideal. I did get a good exchange with Lightning Bolt or Glinthawk and Glitters, but everything else has been not that great. If my opponent has a second glitter, I'm in trouble. It was a second lackey instead. And what's next? I'm in a spot where using makeshift munition to sacrifice synthesizer is not terrible to get another look. Then I can maybe also sacrifice the Lembas to like deal with Glinthawk. Okay, so the opponent decides to attack this time. Now it's kind of their turn to hold up the removal for... Oh, this sucks. The removal for glitter. Okay, I'll try this. I don't love it. I hit a plains. Okay, so we got game. That's cool. So yeah, I play that. Let's finish the Hawk off. Then I'll attack for 3 and play a Skyfisher. This way, I'm kind of baiting my opponent's burn spell, which will, make me live longer, make the glitters more likely to resolve, all of that jazz. So if I had more mana, I could have sacrificed the token, but I didn't, so here we are. I'll return the Batter Fist and pass the turn. Okay, now that I got the planes, I'm confident I can do some things this game. The opponent kind of needs to kill the Skyfisher to even attack. Again, that's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's better for the sake of glitter. Yeah, okay. So the opponent didn't have any value at all to do with those hawks, which is pretty big if the game goes longer. Let's see if there's a burn spell. Doesn't look like it. What is that? Oh, okay, so the opponent has Galvanic Blast. That's smart. So because of first strike, and my opponent only has a shock. So I'm gonna take the damage here, and then I'm gonna try and race with glitters. Hmm. So I need to take kind of watch out for not just straight up losing. I don't have many plays here. I can go double batter fist, but that's bad. Um, okay, I'll try this. Let's put glitter on that card. Let's play batter fist. Yeah, this is the thing. Because of the attack last turn, we knew it wasn't lightning bolt. Yeah, that's not gonna do a lot. So that's also a wasted burn spell from my opponent's hand. Yeah, now this game becomes complicated. So even though the opponent can attack for 4, I'm really attacking in big chunks here. I could still lose this game, but it definitely powered my odd. Also, I know one of the cards in my opponent's hand is a land. I'm gonna take 4 here if my opponent attacks with everything. Okay. I'm gonna take 2. Very nice draw. The plains is absurdly good here. So I could go Thraben. Another one. I think I'll just force the chump here. I think that makes the most sense. Let's attack for punch. Yeah, this is going to be tough for the opponent. There's a long way from 13. The opponent chump blocks. Makes a lot of sense. They go to 10. They should be super dead next turn. Can't really imagine them not being. Okay. Okay. So, playing against a more aggressive version of my deck, I would call it. I could see considering these cards. Maybe the munition is just, I think, too slow in the vast majority of games. You can argue this card isn't the best because I saw like first strikers out of my opponent's deck, but it's still like solid. But maybe I'm just supposed to sideboard like this and have a little bit of glitter insurance. Still have all the burn, some of the grindy elements. Um, yeah, this should be fine. You can consider Gorilla Shaman, but I'm not confident my opponent plays the white artifact land on top of the red one. But I mean, they probably do because of glitters. But let's see. Yeah, this hand is not crazy or anything, but it's fine. Opponent on a mulligan. The last game, I got to lightning bolt something that was targeted with glitters. The opponent tried to kill something that I targeted with glitter, but didn't succeed. Right? That's just kind of the story of the game. Limbus, not a terrible draw. When you return Novice Inspector with Core Skyfisher, it's like 3 mana draw card. Excuse me. When you return Limbus, it's 2 mana, even better with the Scry and stuff. So that's just a better target. Let's see what the opponent hits here. Hopefully a 2-drop. Ancient Den. Okay. Okay. So we're playing a lot of the same cards. I just think my opponent's deck is a bit more aggressive. The opponent develops a flyer, and you just return the synthesizer, play it next turn. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious if I'm supposed to play around. I think I am. I think I'm supposed to pass the turn here, which is very sad. You just can't let your guard down. When you only have red removal, you can't let your guard down when it comes to all the glitters, unless I already have an answer. I would say that's the case, right? The answer being the Dawnbringer Cleric I brought in. If I had that in hand, I would just tap out for something. And here, like, what am I supposed to do end of turn? Probably crack the clue, not even kill the Glinthawk? Just feels so wrong. But I guess that's why the all the glitter is so good, because it kind of makes the play pattern around it tricky. Hmm. I'm not the most lucky today when it comes to land spell ratio. It's very hard to win with a deck when you have a bad land spell ratio. Let's see if we can do a little better. Doesn't look like it. Okay. So the Dawnbringer Cleric is kind of cool. That gives me a little more freedom to just kill the Glinthawk no matter what. Because if my opponent does not play out a if my opponent doesn't have a flyer to put glitters on, I can kind of like chump block on the ground, then kill the glitters, and maybe it's okay. Speaking of, the opponent found all the glitters off the top here from synthesizer. I get to do a great exchange. The opponent can't attack. See if we can get back into this game. Another cleric, which isn't amazing right now. So I think I'm just gonna go Skyfisher, play Limbus. I need to get to my synthesizers in the deck. My opponent's my opponent's ahead right now, but they don't have any pressure, so I could catch up. Don't want that card. Lightning Bolt is decent. So this is a matchup where, yeah, I was about to say, like the flyers on either side of the table oftentimes just gets killed, and then I'm kind of curious to see how you kind of break through. Maybe you just draw the most synthesizers. That's the secret. Once you get synthesizers rolling here, it can be tough to beat for sure. Glinthawk returns synthesizer. So worth noting, it even triggers when it leaves the battlefield, which is pretty darn good. So my opponent's definitely grinding here. They hit an inspector off of the synthesizer trigger. Leader's on that card. Pass the turn. Yeah, I got lucky there. My opponent missed out on value because they wanted to dodge red removal. So that was pretty perfect for me. Sure. Oof, this is bad. This is still kind of bad for me, I feel like. My opponent still has synthesizer in hand. Yeah, just ton of value here. The way to win a game like this is the opponent doesn't kill me before I find my copies of those cards. I also think I need just some good good draw steps in general to kind of make up for all the lands I have. Opponent finds Galvanic Blast. Curious to see where that goes. Okay. Cleric gets killed. Now the opponent can attack for 2, which isn't all that bad. But I think with 2 glitters gone, I want to Lightning Bolt that card and preserve my life total. I think that's a good way to play. This is so sad. This is so sad. Nothing to do. But I look dangerous. 4 cards in hand. Opponent should have cracked the clue end of turn, I feel like. Here's a Batter Fist, which is a card you can... I don't know if you want to attack with that card, maybe. And a token's dead and you still have the equipment. I mean, if you're ahead on resources, I think it's fine. I'm going to hang on to my Lembas here, and as I say that, I draw another one. I'm going to crack the clue right away. I might draw a white flyer. Synthesizer. Okay, so next turn we can kind of let the grinding commence. This game could be a marathon. What is this? Cracking a clue? Sure. I feel like if either player in this match gets like a few good draws in a row, this game can kind of can spiral in either direction. But for now, it's anyone's game, especially now that I find this on the synthesizer. Okay. So now the opponent can return synthesizer, just keep going. I mean, I think that's how you win this game. I'll double block here because if my opponent does not have a removal, it's a trade. If they do have a removal, it's... I mean, I have to drain those removal spells eventually, right? My opponent traded... Yeah, I don't like that trade, but... Well, I do, but I don't like it from my opponent's POV. Okay, let's see what we can do. Counts. Play Limbas off the top. Get down to... one more Cleric. I don't think that makes sense. The Raven is decent. So maybe I go... Skyfisher back, the synthesizer, and get something nice. Land. I'll go Thraben Pass. Now we're back in a similar spot. If the opponent has a burn spell, they probably kill the Skyfisher right away, which in turn makes it more likely that I can put glitters on a creature later in the game, and we're kind of having this dance here. The good thing is my opponent is already 2 glitters down. Novice Inspector. See if the crew the crew. Let's see if the clue gets cracked right away. The crew got clacked. I expect no attack pass here, and we kind of play the game that I was hoping for 5 turns ago. Let's start off with Synthesizer. Come on, baby. Skyfisher. Well, let the grind commence. Skyfisher returns Synth. Play Thraben. Play Synthesizer. This is amazing. Play Glinthawk, return Synthesizer. All that glitters. I play a land so I can play Novice Inspector afterwards. So I guess I just play this on my worst creature. I don't think there's any reason to like lose a flyer. That card is dead. Novice Inspector, pass the turn. And next turn we try and do it all over again. I even have some clues now. And it can't really attack. My opponent has a 2-3, I have a 2-3, so. I feel kind of good having the Dawnbringer Cleric in hand, because even if my opponent plays a glitter on a flyer, I can just like chum block 1 turn, then kill the glitter. I actually like that situation. Speaking of, I don't want to take 11 here, that's for sure. So the good thing is, well, yeah, I make that exchange, and then I can kind of get in for damage. And that's 3 glitters down from my opponent's side of the table. Opponent passes a turn. Let's see what I can experiment into. Land. Sure. Let's crack a clue. Nice Inspector. Let's crack 1 more clue. Okay. Crack 1 more. Galvanic Blast is a good one. So now let's kill the glitter. Let's attack for... Let's see. I don't think it makes sense getting in for 1. Also, my opponent can double block if they want to. I think this is okay. And I think I'm going to play around the 4th glitter in my opponent's deck, which is kind of funny, but I think that's better. I think not putting this card into play is totally fine. Like, the body's not that important. The 1 mana is not that important, but not getting caught off guard by the fourth glitter here could be the end of the world, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the pace in Pauper is my biggest issue when it comes to content creation because it's can be so grindy, and I'm not sure about the entertainment value in that. So at least, yeah, let me know if you have any opinion about that. One synthesizer hits the bin, one more inspector will hit the field. So basically, I think we can. It's now safe to say my opponent's deck is basically my deck without something and with the new lackey card. Hmm. Maybe I take this nice and slow. Okay. Not a bad draw. Another inspector. Let's crack this clue to start with. The Lindhawk. That's a very good draw. Return the synthesizer. Keep going. Let's see what we hit. Galvanic Blast. That's nice. So now I can go Galvanic Blast to Skyfisher. Spectre. One more Inspector. Life gain land. Attack for 4 in the air. So now I have 3 flyers versus 0. I hold up Galvanic against the 4th Glitter. And we both have Synthesizer, but I've done a better job of developing mana. So I can like crack multiple clues. I can do more stuff each turn, basically. I think it's a. I just thought about, oh, I have to worry about not decking myself, but I think this card is just makes it so that you can't deck yourself, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can just loop those cards. Here comes the desperation. Once you start sacrificing the synthesizers, you definitely don't have the flyers to bounce because that's just better to keep them around. The opponent also spent a little more time on this match than me. In a competitive setting, uh, you can argue that the opponent was never. Yeah, okay. Here's the concession. The opponent was never gonna win at this pace win the third game. So that's also another good point about Pauper is you need to play at a proper speed. I've won a lot of matches on time in Pauper, which is not the most it's not the ideal way to win a match, right? But at some point, it's just the name of the game, and you need to be able to make enough clicks to win the match. But speaking of winning the match, we were lucky to emerge victorious from this one. This is kind of a puzzle to me because I saw all the cards that I play with, and I saw this card, so I'm kind of confused if there is some shaving in inspectors, maybe, but I don't know. And I don't know about this. So let's see. It's a cool card for sure. I'm not sure how useful the first strike is if your plan is to put uh, glitter on it, but maybe I'm missing something. I'm not very good with new cards. Okay, that'll do it for match number 2. Let's take one more before we call it a day. Alrighty, round 3. We're on the draw here with Boros Glitters. We have a decent hand here. A card like Glitters is very polarized. I feel like it's either the best card in your deck or the worst. Ooh, with this start, it just might be the best. Another one. Huh. So because my opponent went kind of all in Rebirth turn 1, I'm just going to put 1/2s on the field, as many as I can to stem the bleeding. Now my opponent basically needs to go land, bolt this Inspector, and then I can kind of just keep doing it. My opponent should run out of gas before me here when it comes to that plan. Novice Inspector. I like the all-in sack your furnace turn 1 to make 3 1/1s. I've made that play before. I also remember I played some Demir deck in a Pauper qualifier at some point, and in my win-in match for top 8, I play Island Go. The opponent makes that play, and I have a Spell Pierce, and it's just the best thing that could happen. Okay, the opponent's a bad boy here, so I feel like I should prevent this damage. My opponent's a bad boy. I'll play double Inspector here. Funnily enough, I've drawn 4. Bushwhacker, that was a good one. Synthesizer into an implement. So this is hopefully where I kind of stabilize. Took too soon. This is not where I stabilize. Yeah, I don't think I have any better plays than this. Second Rebirth. Very tough. And second Bushwhacker. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't expect this. But this is definitely good enough to win the game. Yeah, I wonder how I sideboard against this deck. Got utterly crushed. So I want the Clerics. I want the Electricaries. That's 5 cards. I don't want that card. I don't want this card. The Litters could be something I trim, because the game is also about defense a lot of the time. And then I trim 1 more card. I think that's decent. Maybe something like Glinthawk isn't insane. Glinthawk can't bounce like Thrabins and lands unless they're artifact lands. Maybe that's okay. Ooh, that was a severe beating by Mono Red. Had Quad and Spectre, and I couldn't stop. Turn 1, Kuldotha Rebirth. Yeah, this is very close. I think on the draw I would actually keep this hand, but on the play I think it's too much. It asks too much of the top of my deck. Okay, we can keep this. Let's see. What is it that isn't ideal here? Is it the Synthesizer? We can try putting the Synthesizer away. Limbus is like cost more on the surface, but it's kind of less awkward hitting cards I can't cast, etc. I don't know. It also looks a bit better for land. Turn 1 implement. Let's see if we can find the third land that would help this hand out. immensely. Let's keep that. Because then next turn I can kind of go Hawk, replay the Limbos. I think decent. I'm not interested in a tap land. I think I can do better. So now Chain Lightning might kill the Hawk, but that's totally fine. The opponent plays a 1/1, that's also fine. There's glitters. So what I could do if I wanted to was play Novice Inspector, put glitters on it, but I think it's bad. What about... Maybe I just make the same play as last turn. I think he's... And if I knew that, maybe I was supposed to keep the tap land because it actually fits decently into this plan. Okay, I find another tap land. Yeah, I should have kept the tap land last turn. Now I have 2 artifacts already in play. Glitter is just not like insane or anything, but it's a good clock. Gorilla Shaman. That card doesn't do anything right now, which is kind of lucky. Lightning Bolt to Hawk. Down it goes. Opponent's attack for 1. Lightning Bolt. Not a bad draw. This could be synthesizer time because now I have untapped mana of both colors. So let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is plus 5. Maybe this is where I just put glitters on the inspector. All right, let's have a 6/7. So if my opponent attacks, oh, I guess my opponent can eat a clue for 1 mana with Shaman. I forgot it was a 0 drop. Now I have a 5/6. Yeah, I mean double bolt will kill the inspector. Smash to smithereens. Okay. And then nothing. Yeah, now it gets dicey for the opponent. Dawnbringer Cleric is a good draw. Maybe the play is play that, play Inspector, hold up Bolt. Also take that land. Play like that. Maybe I don't have to hold up Bolt. Maybe I can just go play that, attack for 7. Play Skyfisher, return Limbus. Play Dawnbringer, gain life. All good questions. Okay, we put a lot of pressure on our opponent here. I forgot about that again. But yeah, it's probably fine. Gorilla Shaman killing Clue. No attacks from the opponent. Limbus. So the thing is, I'm going to keep attacking with Thraben. At some point, the opponent has to block every turn. The red deck is not a very good deck on defense. Yeah, I don't like that card. Play that, gain 1. I feel like I can attack with those 2. Then I can play Dawnbringer to gain 2 life. Go to 19. Here, the chum blocking commences. Let's see. Dawnbringer, gain 2, pass. Chip damage in the air, big damage on the ground. Stable life total. Okay, Galvanic Blast takes care of Skyfisher. Smash takes care of Limbus. The opponent's still with no attacks, so... And another Glitters, that's amazing. Yeah, that should definitely do it. So I can put that on Novice Inspector. Now the game's just done, right? Play Thraben. Okay, so we got the job done there. My opponent brought in a lot of stuff. Kind of scared about that. If my mana base consists of too many like artifact lands, I could be in world of hurt against Gorilla Shaman. I don't think I can do anything about that. I think I like 3 glitters for the fact that I want to draw like 1 copy during a game. I have my Electrickeries. Okay. Let's see if we can do it here, game 3 against Mono Red. The mana base is and the artifact hate is actually my biggest concern. Oof. I put him all against a 6. That will only be like a small tiebreaker for my decision in case it's close. Let's see. I go turn 1 tap land. If I draw land on that draw step, I'm good. If I don't, I have another draw step, and then I have Synthesizer. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I have enough looks. I think being on the draw and my opponent taking a mulligan, if it's the other way around, I'm on the play. I don't know if my opponent's keeping 7 cards. I think that's worse for me. Oh, drop the small, drop the can here. Okay, nice draw, nice draw. So, does that change anything for me? Regarding my land drop turn 1, I don't think so. I'm gonna go Synthesizer. Let's see if they're skilled magicians. They hit Chain Lightning. I go to 16. But this artifact land can just easily go away. This artifact land might not be long for this world. Synthesizer, don't do it. That's a mountain, probably a decent hit. My opponent still has mana for Gorilla Shaman plus activation or Smash to Smithereens. I don't want to see either of those cards. I don't want to get to untap here. Lightning Bolt on that card. Oh. I'm going to kill the Blast Runner. And then I draw like Trickery. Land. That is a land, but it's also a land that might not make it, so to speak. Let's play Inspector, hold up something. I don't hold up overloaded Electrickery, but I have something here. I think it's better to get the 1-2 in play in case there's a window to put glitters on it next turn. There's Gorilla Shaman. Yeah, that card's insane here, unfortunately. I guess I kill it with Electrickery end of turn. Or is it Galvanic Blast? Do I try and look for land on Synthesizer? Maybe. hit a land, it would be insane. If I don't, then I would have drawn that card anyway, right? So, okay, so the mana base of this deck definitely punished me down the road here. So when you're trying to make a card like Synthesizer good, you need to do some concessions. And if that's like a known quantity, then all of a sudden you can just lose games straight up to cards like Gorilla Shaman. I guess mainly Gorilla Shaman. Question is, if the opponent has one more land, I don't think they do. Which card do I bolt here? I think I bolt that guy, take 2. I'm in deep trouble here. Keeping the Electricity didn't help me. All right. I've learned my lesson. Sacrifice Synthesizer, get another 2/2, find another 2/2 with haste. Yeah, this is just over. This is more than over. So I can block one of them, then cast Electricity. It's terrible. Terrible. Then I draw the land. Not exactly. Yeah, I there's just no way coming back here. All right, that'll do it. We got our butt kicked here against mono red. Our mana base got destroyed by Gorilla Shaman. If those lands are, basics, I'm doing great this game, but they're not, because you play artifact lands to make all the glitters better. And that makes a ton of sense. And it's a good way for the format to adapt, to start just, playing Gorilla Shaman, and then all of a sudden you have a card that's not even good, not only good against Affinity, but also good against glitters. So yeah, I feel like we got some good games in today. We got to do a little bit of grinding. We got to do a little bit of strategically planning when to play glitters. We got to set up a good sideboard plan in the mirror with some enchantment removal, holding back a blocker, keeping up mana as a counterplay measure. Yeah, we got to showcase a little bit of everything. This is definitely not my favorite deck in Pauper, but I can see why it's just like generically powerful, right? So it's like a deck that no matter the metagame, you can just present this main deck. Let's quickly go and look at this main deck. This main deck doesn't play any like metagame specific cards at all. It just plays cards that are good in the same strategy. And overall, being proactive in Magic these days is a pretty good strategy. Like, make the other deck worry about us, right? That's the philosophy. If you start playing a bunch of reactive cards, situational stuff, when they line up poorly, you're gonna be in bad shape. So I like the proactive aspect of the deck for sure. All right, thanks so much for watching. This was the second Pauper video. I'll probably do a few more. I enjoy Pauper a lot, and I hope you do as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.